Hey there guys, welcome back to AFC Game by Game. This is my review of Arsenal 0, Manchester City 2. The Citizens coming out on top. It was a game where they never really got out of second gear. They really did have the rubber to green in this match, as to be expected. I think going into this match, it would have been unrealistic for Arsenal fans to say that we expected a win. Of course, we want to see Arsenal do well, and of course we want to go into these games being optimistic. But the overriding feeling, I think, from us deep down, coming into our opening game against the Premier League champions, it was very, very likely that we were going to lose this game. And unfortunately we have done, but there's a lot to be confident about today. There's a lot of reasons to feel optimistic. Guendouzi being one of them, Mustafi I thought played really well, him being another. The overall team coming together, the high pressing game being implemented by Emery. It's just the start of a new dawn, a new beginning, and it's the first time that I've seen the Emirates Stadium packed to the rafters a couple of minutes before kickoff for the first time in a long time, which is really good to see. There really is a buzz about the place. And when we lost the game, it wasn't the demoralising booing that we've seen at Arsenal in recent years. There was still positive spirits. I mean, when players lost the ball, such as Guendouzi, when Lacazette missed that chance, fans were quick to applaud, quick to get behind the players, and it was really good to see from Arsenal. So I'm really positive in that sense, and I'm just as excited going into that Chelsea game as I was going into the City game today. It was great to be back at the Emirates. It was great to have that buzz back, because it's been so long since we've not had it. But unfortunately, it wasn't the performance that I wanted to see. I think, despite it being Emery's first game, there was still more that I wanted to see. I thought we played it around the back too often. I think we were too quick to play it back to Petr Cech, who I'll get onto it a little bit later, because I think it's worth isolating his performance. But for the most part, it was very conservative from Arsenal. We very rarely tested Manchester City, which is a shame because we had the firepower to do so. The pressing game was really good and really obvious to see. Aaron Ramsey at the heart of that for the time he was on the pitch. Absolutely sublime in that midfield role, and astonishingly, he was so high up the pitch, almost playing as a second striker at times. I'm not entirely convinced by Mkhitaryan and Mesut Ozil playing on the wings. It leaves the fullback far too susceptible to damage. I thought that was so obvious on the side where Riyad Mahrez and Kyle Walker were playing. Ainsley Maitland-Niles left it exposed constantly throughout the course of this game. And on the opposing flank, Mesut Ozil offering next to no protection to Hector Bellerin. So there's so much reliance on our fullbacks at the minute. As I said, throughout pre-season, that was going to be the case, and unfortunately it is looking like it could be a real problem for us, especially with the players that they've got. You've got to think we were quite lucky that Leroy Sané didn't play today, otherwise the scoreline could have been significantly worse. But Kyle Walker, Mahrez, Aguero, all these players caused us serious damage throughout the game on our flanks, and there were so many holes exposed throughout the whole defence. Mustafi played well, but Socrates alongside him, I think he's too slow. He's too slow on the turn. He's good at certain things. I mean, one-on-one, he's powerful, he's strong. You can see that he wins the ball back quite well. He makes a decent challenge every now and then. But I still think we could have done better with the money that we paid for him. I'm not going to go into his performance too much, because on a one-off, there were players as well today who didn't put in a particularly convincing display, and I do want to give these players time. I don't want to jump into it irrationally, because he is a player that could very well come good, and I sincerely hope that's the case, but I just don't think those two, Mustafi and Socrates, I think they're too alike. I don't think they've got the components to gel and work at the back, but it's early days, let's give it time. I thought for the most part, as I say, Mustafi did well. Bellerin alongside him on that right-hand flank, I thought he showed glimpses of being the old Bellerin. And the left-back, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, was decent for the time he was on the pitch, but Lichtsteiner really took the show when he came on. I thought he did very well in that left-back role. Certainly exciting to see, especially given that he's 34 years old and has still got a very good bit of pace about him. The midfield three is something that I definitely want to talk about, because I think it's worth highlighting that trio that we had of Aaron Ramsey, Granit Xhaka and Guendouzi. First of all, really excited but surprised to see Guendouzi start. Had an excellent game for a 19-year-old, and he did give it away at times. There were moments in the game where he had lapses in concentration, which has to be expected for a player of his age. And given it's his first game coming in from League Two, from Lorient, coming into the Arsenal and playing in the Premier League against the champions, he certainly did himself proud today. So really good to see him play well. But if it's going to be anyone that's got to be dropped in that midfield three for Lucas Torreira, who I think has to come in against Chelsea, he looked really good when he came into the game. I think it's got to be Granit Xhaka. And I say that with a lot of reluctance. I love Granit Xhaka. I think he's a very good footballer. But if we are going to be playing a midfield three from here on in, and if we are going to keep Guendouzi as a staple in the team, Guendouzi doesn't give it away as much as Granit Xhaka does. I love the benefits that Granit Xhaka brings to the game. His ball's over the top, the way he links up with the players around him, at times is exceptional, and there are no other players in the league that can do it quite as well as him. But he gives the ball away in so many dangerous positions, which is a massive cause for concern. If City were on the ball today, personally, I don't think they came out of second gear throughout the course of this game. They would have had more chances, they would have had more goals. There were two clear-cut chances that Granit Xhaka gave away in this game, and it's just so so telling of what he does in games at times. He's done that throughout his Arsenal career so far, and it's something, if he can't cut it out of his game, then he's never going to be a great player. I love the guy to bits, as I say. His benefits are paramount, but it's just these little moments, they are going to cost us, and we're at a point now where we can't afford to be giving the ball away so easily. It wasn't just him, there are other players that did today, Cech being one of them. His saves were magnificent. He made some brilliant saves throughout the course of this game, but he just can't play out from the back. That moment where he kicked it behind the goal, that's just professional footballer, Champions League winner. That's just that's inexcusable, unbelievable. Up top as well, Aubameyang very isolated. When Lacazette came on, I think we saw a bit more of Aubameyang come into the game. For me, we need width because we had none in this match. Aubameyang has to be starting on the left from here on in with Lacazette through the middle. It's not something I want to see. I don't want to be shoehorning players into the side, but I'm looking around for other wide options, and the only other one I'm seeing at the minute is Reece Nelson or Danny Welbeck, who's again not a natural winger. So it's quite concerning how we have next to no width. So for me, it's got to be Aubameyang and Lacazette starting in that game against Chelsea, with Torreira and Guendouzi in the middle, with Ramsey just ahead of them. But for the most part, I mean, it is an exciting Arsenal team. I think where we're going to see Mesut Ozil for the most part this season is going to be playing on the flank. I think my preference would probably be a front three of Mesut Ozil, Aubameyang and Lacazette, those three interchanging with the pace, with the pressing game, sorry, of Aaron Ramsey behind them. That should work wonders at times, especially against lesser opposition. And then it's a case of building the two in behind. I want Granit Xhaka to come good this season. I seriously hope he can, because as I say, I've got a lot of faith and I've got a lot of belief in the guy. But for that game against Chelsea, I'd be hoping that Guendouzi would get a bit more protection from the addition of Lucas Torreira, who I think has to come in that game. We needed someone in front of the back four today, because the amount of times City just played through our midfield like a knife through butter. It was so easy for them at times. Just quickly looking at their two goals, I mean, practically identical in the way they came about. The first one, very poor from us, Guendouzi and Xhaka, both stepping away from Sterling and allowing him to get across goal and have that shot where I think Cech should have done better. The Bernardo Silva goal, very good play from Manchester City, but again, no one pressing, no one quick to get on Bernardo Silva. Very good finish, 2-0. The game's effectively done at that point. But Arsenal, we had our chances. We had that Bellerin chance, we had that Mesut Ozil chance where he couldn't quite get it out of his feet. But we need to see more of that. We need to see more intensity going forward. We really did let City play like the home team today, which we can't be doing at home. One thing I really want Arsenal to improve on this season is being more aggressive against the bigger teams. Because we've got the players to do it, we've got the ability, but it's just a case of believing in that ability. Of course, it was going to be tough today against the Premier League champions, but I mean, we can play better than we did today. I'm confident that we can play a lot better than we did today. But it's Emery's first game in charge. I think it was going to be a given that we weren't going to win this game, but a lot to build on, and it's really essential that we work on building that midfield ahead of that game against Chelsea, because they've got an exceptional midfield now with Kovacic, Jorginho, and Kante. So it's important that we get that right. We've got to be winning the midfield battle, and then if we play Lacazette and Aubameyang up top, then I think we've got all the credentials to go there and get a result. I've got to be confident going into that game, and I don't want us to have 0 points from 2 games. I'd really like to see us get a result at Chelsea. I think it's imperative that we do, just to give Emery that confidence boost and just to get the ball rolling for a lot of these Arsenal players, because it is a very fresh squad. Let's not forget that. But as I say, lot to build on today, lots of positives. Let's not be too downbeat about the result. We came up against the Premier League champions, a team that have been doing this for 2 years. And I think City will walk the league again this year. They are that good of a team. Look at the players they brought on. Kevin De Bruyne, Leroy Sané, Jesus. They are an incredible team. And they have got the power to dominate this league for the next 5 years potentially. They're such a young, such an aggressive, such an exciting team, and hopefully, you know, we're just building that project as well, and we can be like that in a few years' time. But let's not base ourselves quite too much off Manchester City. We're the Arsenal, and it's a new era, and it's one that we've got to be looking forward to. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Drop a like on this video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to AFC Game by Game, and as always, I will speak to you very soon. See you later, guys.